All right, thank everyone for being here. This is the SST meeting for SW. And I first want to make sure that everyone is familiar with who's at the table. So this is SW Moms, Miss W. I am Miss Williams, the SST chair, and this is Miss Peel, the math teacher. SW has been brought up for math in the RTI process, so we want to go ahead and try to hear some of his data. So Miss Peel, can you first start with giving us some of his strengths?
Well, SW is an excellent reader. He enjoys reading informational text and sharing out all of the new facts that he's just learned. He's just a pleasure to teach altogether, very helpful.
Good. So let's celebrate that. All right, so the purpose of this meeting is actually to talk about the things that you've been working with him with during the RTI process to address some of the concerns that we have in math. So can you please share with Mom some of the things that you've been doing and how he's been performing?
Okay, Mom, so third grade is a year where it's important for our students to have automaticity, which means that they are able to answer math facts correctly and quickly. So we're working on that because right now he's struggling with just being able to answer some of his basic facts. So the intervention that I have him working on is called Cover, Copy, Compare. And here's an example of it. He's actually able to work on this intervention independently, and then I check in with him, and then we'll work on some other skills at other times. So on this column, there are a mixture of basic facts going back to addition and subtraction, and then there are a few multiplication facts as well. What he does is he'll cover up a fact, he'll study the fact until he feels confident to test himself, and then he will cover that fact up and just copy down what he can remember. Because when it comes to automaticity, we want the students to just be able to just acquire the answer quickly. In class, we'll work on the concepts and why 2 plus 2 is 4, and we'll draw pictures, but then they also need to be able to just come up with a computation. So he'll copy down what he can remember, uncover it, and then compare his answers. If he has it correct, he can move on to the next fact. If not, he can take a little bit more time to study it and then recopy it in this column. So the whole purpose of this intervention is to help him acquire more facts over time and then keep up with those facts that he's mastering. At the end of the week, we'll go over his progress. We progress monitor him on FastBridge, where he'll get a lot of questions, addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division, just spitting it out, and it graphs his accuracy. So I'm really happy to see that over time, there's been some growth.
All right, Ms. W, can you give us a little background? What have been any of your concerns with SW in terms of any academic?
Well, academically, I have concerns because there are times that he struggles at home with homework. He struggles with fact fluency. He does struggle with basic computation. And then there are times we struggle, even though that he can read, we struggle with word problems, him understanding the lingo, what he's supposed to do. So those are my concerns at home.
All right, can you share with Mom maybe some things that she can do at home with him to address some of those concerns?
Absolutely. So one thing I would like to share with you is a mnemonic device that we use in the classroom, and I can make sure I email you a copy of it. And it's just a word problem strategy to help him work through the process of problem solving. So when he looks through, he'll look for important numbers. We'll start to acquire the math vocabulary. We do heavy practice with using math vocabulary in the classroom. And hopefully he will be able to recognize different words for different operations. And you don't have to just rush through like 5 problems in a night. If you want, we can just start with one problem, and it may take you guys 15 minutes maybe just to work through the verbiage in the word. Get him just comfortable with that process, and then when you get to the solution, he should be able to explain his thinking. So although we want our students to get things done quickly, we want them to understand it. So I'm so glad that you're supporting him at home. So that's one strategy. And as far as fact fluency, it's just going to take practice. You go back to the old school, do flashcards. You can do drills with him at home. You can get on extra math. You can even do these fact fluency tests. If you want, I can email that to you. So just practice when it comes to fact fluency.
So what we're gonna do from here, Mom, just so you can understand the process, is Ms. Peel is gonna continue to work with SW, and we're gonna progress monitor him weekly because he's in a tier called Tier 3, and with Tier 3, we have to progress monitor them weekly to see growth. In about 4 to 6 weeks, you'll receive another invitation to come back to another SST meeting, and then we'll be able to show you how he's been progress monitoring. Hopefully that we're gonna see some positive where he's showing growth and showing that he is responding to the intervention. And then if that's the case, then we're able to move him out of Tier 3, but with support because we know how he learns. If it's an event that he does not show the growth that we deem to be significant growth to help him move forward, then we'll continue to collect this data for a course of 12 weeks. And at 12 weeks, we will make a decision whether we feel like he needs to receive additional testing so that we can learn more about him, or, you know, to kind of just talk about some other options. So do you have any questions for myself or Ms. Peel?
At this time, I do have a question. If he's not responding to this process and we go towards testing, what's the next steps?
Well, we go towards testing. If he qualifies, once they test, we will be invited to a meeting that we'll call a CBT, and at that time I would invite the school psychologist in our IST. And our IST and school psychologists will be able to explain to you the different battery of testing that they will do. And if he qualifies, then they will develop an IEP, and he will receive special education services under the area in which he qualified for. But if he doesn't qualify, because it could be a possibility that he doesn't, we will use the testing that was done to provide the teacher with some additional support on different ways to support him in the classroom, because we've identified that he did not have a learning disability, but he just probably learned differently based on other tools that the teacher can use in the classroom.
Okay.
All right. So his next meeting will be scheduled September the 3rd. You'll receive a notification in the mail, and at that time we'll have more information to share, and we'll be able to make decisions as we go along.
Okay.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming.